Who's that with him? Whose side you on? You flipped on us, brother? You coming or what, man? What you doing?
Yo, Torque, where your head at? I'm talking to you. I know you're low, my man. Carmen giving you divorce papers this morning? That's some low-down, dirty business. Wasn't even your fault. You were baited. The word I heard? Blackmore hired that fool to come pick a fight with you. Coached him to say those lies about your boys. Then, surprise, the police walked right in. Someone tipped him. No coincidence to it. Blackmore was all over that. Now, Blackmore's got collared himself. He's in here now, with the freaks and the fiends and the schemers and us. Now, I can set him up for you, but there's just one hitch in the plan. I never laid eyes on the man. What'd he look like?
Looks like trouble.
Whatever, my man. Shoot, I'll help you bury that motherfucker.
Somebody needs to learn his place.
What's that you gonna do, boy?
Yeah, that's right. I'm a last-minute entry, and now I'm playing this game.
Blackmore owns Eastern now. Particularly you two.
Ain't a living soul that owns Torque. He ain't no slave, and neither am I.
Bluster is the tool of the sucker player.
You shut your mouth when we talk to you. Learn some respect.
You're the only one even letting him play this game. Without you, he's nothing.
When you get an order from Blackmore, you will follow it without question.
Now you're gonna play on my team. You may be tough, but I'm smart, and smart always wins.
Blackmore's got his hooks in this place, and now they're in both of you.
Why do you think Carmen left you? You weren't enough of a player for her.
And if you don't do what Blackmore says, your precious little boys may not make it to junior high.
Fuck all y'all! Ain't no way in the world!
Game's over. Finish these losers.
Son of a bitch!
This is bad, my man. Sounds like a riot. World's coming down. Oh, I feel that. Nice shot.
Get out of here! Screaming.
Support units well blocking. Repeat, support units
Inside job.
Man, hey! They firing on us. Know the joke, those is live rounds.
You and Blackmore acted like you owned Eastern. You probably caused this. Riots are chaos. Casualties are expected.
Now, my man Torque, you want Blackmore.
Yeah! Who's on top and who's on bottom now, motherfucker? I strap now. Gonna put this to good use.
Can I get a little help, brothers? Mercury's rising up in here.
Yo, sure, we get you guys out. Just stay clear, you know what's good for you. Stay true, y'all.
Hey, move with me, my man. Eastern sinking to the 7th level. We don't want to go down with it.
Who's eating shit down, Seal?
How you like the other side?
Hey, move with me, my man.
Fucker's still standing. Don't know how.
He'll be out of blood soon.
Damn you.
Easy kill activated.
Looks like in line. got a real predicament here.
I tell you what, I ain't leaving this room till this thing's under control. But don't matter how big I am or how many guns I got, there's 10 times the number of them as there is us. Yeah, if the cert guys get up here, then I'll see about leaving. Not 1 minute earlier, neither. Oh yeah? Then come up into here and fire me face to face.
Go snag that heat.
That's what I'm talking about. It's open. Follow with me.
Suffering we all feel inside will show itself in the rape of the people.
There's no escape.
This guy warms my soul. COs burn good. We got any hands?
Once you start running away, you've already lost. I've got your wife on a leash and your kid Corey wrapped around my finger. Your life is already nothing. And when I pummel the life out of them, it'll be less than zero.
Someone else?
Blackmore's got a deal for you. He says you can be back in our crew.
All you gotta do is make your bones.
Shouldn't be hard for you. You know about killing. Whack this guard and
sliced her top to bottom, so's to see her inner self.
Still with me, Torque? My man. We in this together, baby. To the end. For always and forever. We gotta get together on this. I'll go through here and open up the way through.
The pawn's off the board. Now only the real players are left in the game. Ready for checkmate? Playing for real. Hold on. I'm coming for you.
Wake up, T. Come back to the present. I need you. We all need you. You made it, T. Through so much, all because you can never control your anger. You got off that island, but you can never really go home. Not to what we had before. Coming back to Baltimore won't solve your problems. It will only create new ones.
Coast Guard vessel, dock your craft. Debriefing is mandatory. That was not smart. We're debriefing everyone coming off Carnate. We need to know what happened.
This way. We have a place you can get warm just up here.
Doesn't matter, we just need to get him inside ASAP. This guy's the prime.
Really?
Him? Positive. Jordan's waiting for him. With me. 1, 2, 3, lift!
He's coming too.
Let him. Jordan will want him awake anyway.
That'll be some first date.
Shut it! No shit. You were on that company op in Laos? I can neither confirm nor deny that. Yeah, fuck that. That was one motherfucking hot damn shitty swamp from hell.
Tango unit and Delta unit to observation move tackle building. They're waiting for you.
Fuck the services. Credit Island is foobar. This is going to take a while. As long as the money's green and the ammo's live. Hey, is that the prime target? That Jordan said he required special attention. He's no threat now.
Support personnel needed in the holding bay. ASAP.
You see those fat fucking bags with the rats in them? Shape charge took them out. How many specimens your squad bring back? Specimens? Are we supposed to be bringing back specimens? Shit. Jordan's gonna shoot you.
Echo unit, departure in 1 minute.
Just sit tight there. Your official welcoming committee will be here in just a minute. In the chatter. She wouldn't want us talking to him.
Support staff to tanker facility. Echo unit, call in, please. Hostile last seen in tackle building.
When are the lights going to come back on?
We should just sit tight.
Anyway, like I was saying, I don't know what she thinks we're going to learn from all of this. There's so much new here.
Jacobson was telling me the tissue samples he collects degenerate before he can even get them under the scope.
Is he going with the live samples plan?
We don't have any better ideas, and Jordan's riding him to get results now. But sedation doesn't seem to last more than...
Oh, crap, what's that?
Fools must die. You can now rise up on the backs of the dead.
Was it an explosion? What's the plan? We just gotta get over there. Move, move, move! That's the guy who beat the shit out of those lab boys. Motherfucker, drop him. The creatures broke free, didn't they? I knew this would happen.
No one knows. Directed from Jordan is to secure the sewer entrance. Let's move.
Not my type, but you'll have to do.
show you something really important at the apartment. To get T, you have to...
So pretty.
Please, no!
Tastes good.
No, don't!
Tastes good.
Please, no!
So pretty.
No, don't! Nothing makes sense, T. I need you to explain it to me. No, don't!
So pretty.
I won't let you!
Now rise up on the backs of the dead.
Came close to seeing inside you, too. Pretty wifey. But now she'll just have to be my one and only.
I'm telling you, I saw something.
You see something every time you get to me.
Please, no!
I'm serious.
Oh, don't wake me up no more, boy. Get off my leg.
I ain't off the leg. Carl? Carl, what the fuck you doing? What did this trouble? What was that? You get off me!
To go back, T, I know, but you have to get to your apartment.
Now down here, it's clear.
Can't see a trace of him. Area's clean.
It's hard to go back, T, I know, but you have to get to your apartment. It's your neighborhood. You're getting close, T. Don't stop now.
Yes, I like it.
Talk to you now, T. You're almost there.
Daddy, stop it! Daddy, please! No more! Daddy!
T, I'm up here. Time's wasting and things can only get worse. I need to talk to him now, T. Here. You're all... I always wanted something better for the boys, but you did your best with what you had. I know that. Come on, I need to show you something.
Can we just stay up a little bit longer?
Come into the bedroom, T.
Come on, Malcolm. Give it back.
T, this won't go away until you face it. Not bad. Looks pretty good. You're really trying to make a good home for the boys, T. I'm proud of you. The bedroom, T. Don't you remember where... Please, T. We don't have a lot of time. Good, T. This is the place. It's in your closet. Open it up and see what you find. Look, the papers should remind you about your own life. Look at them, T, please. Now read the papers. If you don't remember what happened then, you'll never understand what's happening now. Do you remember it all, T? How we got here? You need to remember. Take a good look at what you found, T. Is it coming back, T? All of it? Maybe you're ready. I found this. This you need to see. Only one person I know could have written this. Blackmore. His men call him the Colonel because they follow his orders. But you wouldn't. And he got back at you through our son, T. Our son! Did you ever really understand what it means to be a father? You weren't a good father, not in jail.
Mommy, do I have to take a bath?
Disturbing news, Torque. It's time for your history lesson. What did you do to Corey that made him so, shall we say, homicidal? Much as I want my patients to take responsibility for their actions, in this case it appears there was an external factor, and you don't even realize it, do you?
That fool tried to play me? Think he's too good for my game? His boy Corey is our ace in the hole. Already hates his dad. We just need to give him a little push. He'll school his old man at his own game.
A fiend of many names. Certainly his moniker, the Colonel, is evocative, but personally, I prefer the name he more commonly uses, Blackmore. More black than what, might I ask? More black than even you? So it would seem.
What happened?
Hold it right there! Oh, Jesus, what did he do to her? I'm gonna be sick. You're gonna get the needle for this one, you sick son of a bitch!
do you want?
Your brother won't let us in, so it looks like your luck to fuck, motherfucker!
Yes, I like it.
My favorite patient. I regret to inform you that your psychosis is profoundly severe. Blackmore is a uniquely dire problem, and to handle him, you will need a uniquely dire solution. And where better to present it than on the majesty of the stage? Come to the Grand Theater, and I'll show you a thing or two about acting the part.
you or something?
I think I saw a forager yesterday.
All I can think about is food. This meat sure is fun.
Hey, Reverend, where'd you get this from?
My God, it's people are eating.
We trusted you!
We had to be something, my friends, or we'd all
We're all
die.
gonna burn in hell for this!
Health deactivated. Health activated.
Your self-determination is most impressive. Perhaps Blackmore does grasp the real you better than I. Better than even you. Meet me at the Grand Theater, and we shall see if I can help you get back what you once had. You will need it.
That thing dead. You kill it, then we let you in here. You be safe with us. Shit, watch out! It's coming! Yo, over here! You got some. Yo, man, take this. Hope it helps you.
Sorry, man. You a little too crazy to get up in here with us.
Can't take no chances, man. Don't want you attracting no more of those things.
You are sadly mistaken.
Where the fuck did that thing come from?
Here. Your kind cannot hide
I open the door!
From the righteous.
Help me! Oh, fuck! Help me!
If you do not come willingly.
It's getting close as shit! What you...
The hunt is on.
Man, that was close. Why'd you bring that guy in here?
You tried your best, T.
Oh, Jesus, look at Lenny! Why didn't you save Lenny? Stupid motherfucker!
In just a moment. Until then, however, I shall grace you with a touch of my unique thespian talents. With the tempest raging about us once again, what better way to soothe the savage beasts? Oh, I have passed a miserable night, so full of ugly sights, of ghastly dreams, that as I am a Christian faithful man, I would not spend another such a night, if 'twere to buy a world of happy days. Go with me, like good angels, to my end, and as the long divorce of steel falls on me, make of your prayers one sweet sacrifice, and lift my soul to heaven. Excellent wretch! Perdition catch my soul! But I do love thee, and when I love thee not, chaos is come! Newsflash, Dateline Baltimore. Mayhem in the city as history's worst atrocities walk the streets, and law enforcement is powerless to contain the threat. And it would appear our dashing hero Talk is right back where he started. Sad, isn't it? The creatures, the carnage, your family, the doubts about your past, they're all back. Seems like a most pathetic retread of a recent box office favorite, doesn't it? Children may be box office poison, but who can dispute how effectively they bring a tear to the eye? Witness your son, Corey.
Did you learn, Dad? Did I show you anything? Nah? Well, I learned everything from you. You showed me how, you taught me how to fix a problem, and I fix you the same way. You proud of me now, Dad?
Dear, dear, dear. Corey could be looking at a lifetime of alienist treatment were it not for the fact that he's so very dead. That suits me fine. A poke into his gray matter may help me understand young Corey and the mess he became. But what could you have done that pushed him that far?
Your boy knew how to play the game, and he showed you how it's done. Now, come on. Let's see how well you do. I've got some friends that can get this thing started right. You're getting closer. Come on, what's wrong with you? Let him out to play. The best players know when to take it to the next level. There's hate in there. I know there is. It's no use fighting. Desperate times, desperate men. Do you feel it slipping away? Let it. Do you feel it slipping away? Let it. There's hate in there. I know there is. Need another. The best players know how to take it to the next level. That's it. Yes. Now for the challenge. It's good to see the inner you. Now you remember what it takes to go all the way. Welcome back. And I look forward to playing the game with you.
Oh dear, and so it all comes full circle, eh, Talk? Maybe it's for the best. I fear you'll need every tool at your disposal if you're to survive this mess. Use it wisely. You may find it does more to help you now than ever before. for your brawn. And if that doesn't help, as always, aversion therapy, electroshock treatments, the lobotomy blade, and a newfound hobby of mine, invasive neurosurgery. But I must say, that can be much more enlightening if you're already dead.
This binder contains a quick overview of the different malefactors that Foundation scientists and containment personnel have observed on the streets of Baltimore during our initial sweep. This does not represent the extent of our current knowledge, but provides a succinct overview for those who wish to become acquainted with our subject matter. One of our most interesting finds during the Carnate Island containment operation was a journal written by a fairly intelligent escaping inmate by the name of Clem. He had composed and illustrated a bestiary of all the malefactors he had seen, and had named them in an amusing style. Impressed by his work, we've decided to continue his naming convention herein. Slayer. This is the most pervasive of all the malefactors we've encountered. The Slayer has a basic human body shape, but with blades replacing the legs and arms, and a metallic apparatus suspending the head. Given its context, the Slayer's appearance evokes blade-wielding street criminals, though the malefactors' blades are longer and sharper than one would normally find even on the most violent Baltimore streets. Arsonist. This malefactor is most curious because of its ability to survive despite being perpetually engulfed in flame. Its fire is persistent and never extinguishes for as long as its host lives. Its flesh appears to flake off as it chars, yet the malefactor seems unhurt. Baltimore has a high incidence of abandoned building fires, often with squatters and other impoverished people trapped in these run-down buildings and burned alive. If only they could survive as well as the arsonist. Gorger. Along with the Carnate Island malefactor the Fester, this gorger is distinct because of its constant need to feed as part of its innate behavior. With its incredibly sharp teeth and highly muscled jaw, this malefactor seems built to do precisely that. This creature appears to be the incarnation of a popular Baltimore urban legend that tells of an insatiable creature that feeds on whatever it can find. Triggerman. A human corpse forms the center of this malefactor. The body appears to have suffered multiple gunshot wounds, particularly to its head, which has lost a significant portion of its mass. The malefactor's legs are vaguely arachnid in form and incorporate some type of automatic rifle. As with the Slayer, this Triggerman seems to tie to Baltimore's tragically prevalent street crime, with a high number of homicides each year resulting from gun violence. Mainliner. An offshoot of the mainliner seen on Carnate, this malefactor's appearance is evocative of the numerous junkies that one finds in Baltimore's poorest neighborhoods. Its innate behavior is to assault enemies with its syringes, suggesting that it's more of an aggressive drug dealer than a drug abuser. The syringes we have analyzed contain a unique heroin-derived concoction that is capable of instantly killing almost any human immediately upon injection. Marksman. This malefactor is nearly identical to the ones we saw in large quantities on Carnate Island. It wears a giant battery of rifles on its back and is able to erupt out of the ground, a particularly impressive sight due to its significant size. In Baltimore's troubled past, there were a few rare occasions of the military being called out to quell civilian uprisings. One can only imagine how this marksman ties to those intense events. Mauler. One of the few malefactors that does not derive from a human skeleton, these beasts do still feature a hideous human skull. Named the Mauler for their savage biting attacks, these malefactors are relentless in their pursuit of a target and seem to be insatiable in their appetite for human flesh. Their appearance often coincides with the manifestation of an apparition, a large human who seems to be their master. Burrower. Cities are built on the backs of those who labored and died to build their underground infrastructure. Just as those laborers needed to adapt to their hostile working conditions, so too has this burrower. This malefactor actually moves beneath the surface of the earth at tremendous speed. The exact physics of how it accomplishes this remain a mystery. especially given that it can successfully tunnel through a wide variety of materials. Suppressor. The suppressor is surprisingly mobile, given that it's missing a number of its limbs and seems to have lost some of its senses. This malefactor can only see enemies when they step into its intense beam of light, but it is relentless once it's spotted a target. Given its appearance and its tendency to show up near Eastern Baltimore Correctional, it seems to be connected to that institution's infamous and brutal Correctional Emergency Response Team, CERT. Isolationist. This malefactor thrives in the darkness and tries to make its environment as dark as possible by disabling or destroying light sources. We've not been able to get a good look at the isolationist, let alone capture one. It appears to have a unique relationship with a cockroach-like malefactor, the Wretch, which it spawns in large numbers. One cannot help but think of inmates locked away in solitary when one glimpses the isolationist. The Horde. By far, this is the largest malefactor that we have witnessed. It is unclear to us if the Horde is unique or if we have simply never seen more than one at a time. It seems like a distant, much larger cousin to the Burrower, but obviously more deadly and destructive. This gigantic malefactor appears to have countless small animal heads sprouting from its body, evoking a mob or horde come to visit their uncontrollable anger upon the unwary. Blackmore. Blackmore is one of the multiple fictional personalities of our prime target, Torque. Blackmore is highly intelligent, fiercely determined, and brilliantly charismatic, but is only dominant a small percentage of the time. Nevertheless, he's managed to build a substantial criminal empire and has been using his ill-gotten gains to fund the Foundation. He's included here because of his unique connection to the malefactors.
Having worked long and hard on my scrapbook history of Carnate Island, I wanted something a bit less depressing to take on next. I thought our state's largest city might be an interesting subject, and spend a large portion of my time off the island delving into the history of Baltimore. I cherished my time away from Carnate, but I soon found that Charm City had its own share of dark events from the past. And now I wonder, is it me? Do I seek out these horrible tragedies when I investigate the history of a place? Has Carnate changed me to be fixated on death and horrible suffering? Or is the evil everywhere, if you look hard enough? Baltimore Harbor. Baltimore owes its existence to its geography. It was a major port for the clipper ships of the 18th century, and to this day is a major shipping center on the eastern seaboard. The shipping industry certainly has its seedy side, with criminals and corruptions infesting it in the past and still today. With numerous underused and abandoned facilities, if you ask a resident of Baltimore what exactly the city's docks are used for, likely they would not be able to tell you. Canal Street Mission. One of Baltimore's most tragic stories takes place during the Great Depression. In the 1930s, there was a reverend who, when his soup kitchen ran bare, served up human corpses to his starving followers. This is tied to a persistent urban legend about a creature known as the Gorger. During the food shortages, mothers would tell their children that the Gorger had eaten all of their food, and if they did not behave, he might soon eat them as well. The tunnels. As with any major city of a certain age, beneath Baltimore there are more tunnels than any one person can remember. The working conditions endured while these passages were built were unsafe and often deadly. But immigrant labor, typically from Ireland, had no choice but to engage in these hazardous jobs if they wanted work. People say you can still hear their voices, trapped under the ground, desperately screaming out their last breaths. An old station. A slave state, Maryland sat on the border between the slave-holding South and the free North. Because of this, the state hosted numerous important stations on the Underground Railroad. It was at one of these safe havens in Baltimore that the slave hunter Copperfield revealed his true sadism. The tale says Copperfield smiled as he let his rabid dogs loose on a number of bountiless runaways, directing the beasts to devour the helpless slaves alive. Sight of a lynching. Even the most adept negotiator will agree they may be able to calm the rage of any one individual, but the fury of an enraged mob is all but unstoppable. In Baltimore, some 80 years ago, it was on this corner that the rage of a horde of people could only end in bloodshed. Today, that event is shrouded in mystery. No one even remembers the supposed crime of the accused. It doesn't matter. The horde makes its own right and wrong. Eastern Baltimore Correctional Facility. Though Abbott is a higher security prison containing a harder breed of inmate, Eastern Baltimore Correctional Facility has a legacy that makes it just as notorious. Located deep in the harshest section of East Baltimore, for 50 years the facility was run by a series of cruel wardens who directed a hateful staff. Recently, the brutal criminal Blackmore'a was said to have done a stint there. Finally, an inmate whose evil surpassed that of his jailers. Eastern Correctional Lunchroom. The secret of every corrections officer is that he is totally powerless against the superior numbers of the inmates. On one fateful day in the 1970s, the inmates at Eastern overthrew their captors, even managing to kill the warden. They say his blood still stains the floor of the lunchroom. A brutal show of force followed, the CERT unit opening fire on the inmates. Many died, but the inmates had already reminded everyone who truly has the power. Eastern Correctional Solitary Confinement Unit. It is hard to punish those who are already incarcerated. Prisons have focused on removing what few freedoms and privileges inmates retain: light, fresh air, mobility, human contact. Solitary takes away all those things. In Eastern, the COs took it to the extreme, so far that 7 inmates killed themselves rather than live another day in the dark misery of the solitary cells. The story goes that Warden Elroy smiled when he heard the news. Eastern Correctional Machine Shop. The goal of Eastern's most notorious warden, Raymond Elroy, was to keep his inmates as miserable as possible, something accomplished largely through the hard labor forced on them in the machine shop. There was little regard for their safety, with disastrous results. For instance, one day, the valves on the smelters melted off and completely incinerated a number of inmates. The stench of burnt human flesh has never left that room. The Legend of the Creeper. The police have no record of a man named Luther Stickwell, but the people of Baltimore remember him as the Creeper. The legends say he was a pimp whose hatred of women knew no limit, and he ended up killing not only the women in his employ, but also any others who suited his fancy, his eventual body count ranging from 50 to over 200. Few things make me as ill as when I hear he still skulks through the alleyways of Baltimore. Carnate Island. The people of Baltimore and Greater Maryland almost never speak of Carnate Island, as if they wish it did not actually exist. Yet there it looms off the coast, its own dark history surpassing even Baltimore in sheer numbers of atrocities. Today, those of us who live there work in the bleak Abbott State Penitentiary, or are married to those who do. I can assure you, we never forget that it is an intensely deep shade of blood that stains the island's soil. Blackmore's Drowning Pool. It seems the entire city of Baltimore shakes at the mention of the name Blackmore. The notorious drug lord has taken over most of East Baltimore's drug trade, viciously disposing of his enemies in his infamous underground drowning pool. Perhaps the fact that hardly anyone has ever met him is part of his secret. He lives almost as a legend, only visible out of the corner of an eye, looming over the city like a specter of pure evil. Jordan and the Foundation. One day on Karny, I heard a helicopter land. I went to investigate and saw an imposing woman emerge from the craft. Researching the helicopter's insignia, I learned of a shadow organization known only as the Foundation. Dedicated to some sort of paranormal research, I learned of the group's leader, Jordan, and her fierce determination. From that one time I saw her, I knew she would stop at nothing to get what she wanted.
I never threw any of it out. Some of my girlfriends now, they get mad at their boyfriend or husband or whoever. They throw away everything that reminds them of him. Burn it up, tear it to pieces, whatever. As mad as I got at T, I never threw out any of the things that made me remember him. Part of me wanted to forget he ever happened, but another part of me wouldn't let go of the hope that it would all work out in the end. Corey and Malcolm mean everything to me, and it's because of them I get so mad at T. I just want what's best for them, and sometimes I don't know if their father realizes how important he is to their happiness. But T's been doing a good job with them since I moved to Manhattan. Now I miss them more than I ever imagined. And I know I have to be with them again. And if that means taking T back, well, stranger things have happened. Miles is probably T's best friend. He's smart, and I think he has good intentions, but he always seems to be getting into trouble and bringing T down with him. He owns a dive bar called the Underground, and that was where T got into that fight that sent him to jail. I always wondered what part Miles played in all that. I tried so hard to keep T away from influences that would bring us down, but I didn't have much luck. I remember the smell of Eastern even from the outside. It seemed like forever they kept us waiting outside in the rain. Standing there, seeing the other women visiting their men. I just got mad. How could T have brought us this low? When I got inside, it was so cold. I remember the look on T's face when I told him it was over, that I needed a divorce. He looked at me like I had betrayed him, and I told him he had done it to all of us. T once drew a picture of his cell in Eastern and sent it to me. He said he didn't want my pity, he just wanted me to understand what he was going through. While he was locked away, he had a long time to reflect on what had happened, and I think he learned a few things. When he came out, he was a new man. Now the boys came first in his life. I hated he ever went to Eastern, but the way he came out almost made it worth it. The Garvey Children's Home sounds so innocent, but I think it was filled with little monsters. T never told me much about this place, but I learned about it when he would wake up screaming at night. He'd be yelling that he just wanted to be left alone. One day when we were out for a walk, we passed it by accident, and T stopped cold. He turned around, said we had to go home. If there was one building I could burn to the ground. T has this thing, and I've never seen anything like it. I mean, anyone can tell you that he has some problems controlling his anger, but this goes way beyond that. When he was working at the gym sparring one time, I saw him lay into some guy like a madman. After a minute, T seemed to snap out of it, pulling back just in time. If he hadn't, I think he might have killed that other guy. It's like he becomes something else entirely. Blackmore. I hate even writing his name down. Now I know it was him. Whether T was guilty of what happened at Miles's bar, I'm not sure. But I know it wouldn't have happened without Blackmore. And the things Blackmore said to me about the boys? It's one thing being king drug dealer, or whatever he is, but Blackmore takes evil to another level. He's almost too evil to be real. and I've never even seen him in the flesh. The gazebo is where T and I met, and I know it's silly, but just looking at a photo of it makes me wonder, what if that gazebo had been somewhere else? Somewhere far from Baltimore, far from the junkies, far from Blackmore'a. What if it had been in some small town somewhere out in the country, a million years ago? We would have stepped out of that gazebo into a world that would have let us have our life, had our dream, had our happiness. I still wonder.